In today's English lesson, we're going to read a news article together. You're going to learn a lot of advanced vocabulary in context for formal and informal situations. You'll also learn some important grammar tips for more natural speaking and writing in English. After we analyze each paragraph, you will have an opportunity to practice your pronunciation and listening skills by listening to me read everything from start to finish a little bit faster. Then I'll have some homework questions for you to practice your writing. And as always, I've created a free PDF for today's lesson. You can download all of today's notes by clicking the link in the description of this video. Are you ready? Today's article is about some big news in the music industry. Let's start with the headline, or the title of today's news article. Billboard names Beyoncé the greatest pop star of the 21st century. First, we have the verb to name someone something, which means to officially select or identify someone or something for a specific title. For example, she was named the winner of the competition after an amazing performance. He was named Employee of the Month for his hard work and dedication. If you watched my other lesson about how to understand newspaper headlines, then you already know that sometimes headlines don't use the typical grammar rules of standard speaking and writing. This title uses something called the historical present tense. This is when we use present tense to describe recent past events, and this makes the event sound more interesting or more urgent. That's why we're using names here. But in the regular paragraphs of the article, we switch back to standard grammar rules. And the first sentence of the first paragraph is a great example of this. Let's read that now. Beyoncé has been named the greatest pop star of the 21st century by Billboard, the music charting site announced on Tuesday as part of an ongoing series. Beyoncé tops our staff-chosen editorial list based on her full 25 years of influence. So here we're using the present perfect tense, has been named. This is how we would typically describe an event that happened recently in the past, but it has an effect on the current situation. Next, we have the 21st century. Not 21 century or century 21. In English, we use ordinal numbers for centuries. These are numbers like first, second, third, fourth, etc. The ST at the end are the last two letters in the word first, the 21st century. Now let's talk about Billboard. Billboard is a famous American music and entertainment magazine that creates official charts of the most popular songs and albums in the US every week. These music charts are considered the standard for success in the music industry. So when someone says that a song is on the top of the charts, that usually means the Billboard music charts. Here we have a very useful adjective, ongoing. This means that something is continuing to happen or is not yet completed. The crime investigation is still ongoing. There are ongoing discussions about how to improve the project. A quick grammar note here. I know that the word series looks like a plural noun, but in English, the singular form is also series. So you can watch a series, or you can watch many series on Netflix, for example. Here, we're using top as a verb. To top something means to be in the highest position on a list or to be better than a previous person or thing. For example, the song topped the charts for 6 weeks. She topped her previous high score in the game by 20 points. An editorial is a type of article in a newspaper or a magazine. A person who's in charge of a newspaper or a magazine is called an editor. So, the purpose of an editorial is to express the editor's opinions or ideas. Here we have a compound adjective. These are phrases with two or more words that work together as an adjective to describe a noun. So, what type of editorial list is this? You could say an editorial list that was chosen by the staff, but this sounds a bit long, and the relationship between the adjective and the noun is unclear. It sounds much better to say a staff-chosen editorial list. The words staff and chosen are connected with this punctuation mark, which is called a hyphen. We use a lot of compound adjectives in English, and we'll see a few more examples of this later. Let's go to the next paragraph. Her commitment to innovation, evolution, and all-around excellence has made her the bar against which all other pop stars this century have long been measured over the past 25 years. Let's talk about the word innovation. Innovation is the introduction of new and better ideas or methods. You usually hear this word in the context of technology or inventions. The late 19th and early 20th centuries are remembered as times of great innovation. Innovation is necessary to stay competitive in the technology industry. Next, evolution. Evolution is the process of slow change and development over time. The evolution of music styles reflects changes in culture. The evolution of the internet has transformed how we communicate with people. We have another compound adjective, all around. This means having many skills, abilities, or uses. He's an all-around entertainer who can sing, dance, and act. Now, we have a lot of idioms in English that use the phrase the bar. The bar is the standard level of quality or performance that is used to compare all others. You often see this with the verb set. So, in the same way that you can set a goal or set an example, you can also set the bar. Some other options are to raise the bar or lower the bar. In this case, Billboard is saying that Beyoncé is the bar. She is the standard. When we talk about comparing other people or other things to the standard, a more formal verb for this is to measure someone or something against someone or something else. Now, pay attention because we have some very advanced grammar here. This word order is extremely formal, and it's not how we would typically speak or write in everyday English. Let's use this part of the sentence as an example, and I'm going to replace the subject with the word this. This has made her the bar against which all other pop stars this century have long been measured. In everyday English, the more natural word order would be, this has made her the bar that all other pop stars this century have long been measured against. Yes, you can end a sentence with a preposition in English. In fact, sometimes you must end with a preposition because sometimes there's no other choice. In the comments, let me know if you'd like a more detailed grammar lesson about the location of prepositions in sentences. But wait, what about this phrase, have long been? Well, this is a more formal way to say that something has happened or has existed for a long time. We especially like to use this to talk about historical trends. After the auxiliary phrase have or has been, we can use a past participle verb, an adjective, or a noun. Education has long been considered the key to success. The Statue of Liberty has long been a popular tourist attraction in the United States. Beyoncé is the most Grammy-winning artist, with a record 32 wins. And after earning 11 more nods for her 2024 album, Cowboy Carter, is expected to scoop up more trophies come January. Before the noun artist, we have another compound adjective, Grammy-winning. And just like all other adjectives, you can use compound adjectives in the comparative form with more, or the superlative form, the most Grammy-winning. The Grammy Awards are usually just called the Grammys, and I would say that the Grammys are like the Oscars of music. We can use the word record as an adjective before a noun to describe something that's the highest, the most, or the best ever achieved. The band has sold a record number of albums. We've experienced record amounts of snow this winter. The noun nod is a more informal term that's common in the entertainment industry. A nod is a nomination for an award or a title. Here's an interesting phrasal verb, to scoop something up. Usually, this means to lift or collect something with a scoop or scooping motion. But in this context, scooping up more trophies means winning something very easily. So, Billboard is predicting that Beyoncé will scoop up some more awards because of the 11 nods, specifically 11 Grammy nods, that she received for her most recent album. The Grammys will be in January, and that's why you see this phrase at the end of the sentence, come January. This is another way to say when January comes. I know it sounds kind of strange, but in this phrase, the word come is a preposition, and then you can add a particular time in the future. I would say this sounds a bit old-fashioned, but it's still pretty common in everyday conversation. For example, my daughter will be 10 years old come next Wednesday. The garden doesn't look good right now, but come spring, it will be filled with green grass and colorful flowers. The Texas Hold'em singer has a deep history on Billboard's charts as well. She has 9 number 1 songs and 24 top 10 songs on the Hot 100. 8 of her albums have claimed the number 1 spot on the Billboard 200 albums chart, starting with her 2003 debut solo album, Dangerously in Love. After previously dominating the airwaves as part of girl group Destiny's Child, 11 of Beyoncé's solo albums have charted in Billboard's top 10. Texas Hold'em is the name of one of Beyoncé's songs, but what does that mean? Well, it's a popular card game that originated in the state of Texas. Texas Hold'em is a well-known variation of poker, where you have 2 personal cards and there are 5 community cards. Hold'em is a reduction of hold them. This spelling is not standard, so don't use this in formal writing or speaking. It's modified to represent colloquial speech, or how native speakers pronounce these 2 words in everyday conversation. Not always, but sometimes in fast spoken English, you will hear hold them pronounced as hold'em, hold'em.
So my dad's a Texas Hold'em player. Texas Hold'em, Texas Hold'em.
When you purchase them and hold them, and hold them, and hold them.
Here, NO period is an abbreviation for number. Also, we have the name of 2 important Billboard music charts. The Hot 100 is for the most popular songs, and the Billboard 200 is for the most popular albums in the US every week. To claim something is a formal verb that means to gain, win, or achieve something. The politician claimed victory after a long and difficult campaign. Many people believe that he will claim the gold medal in the next Olympic race. Next, we have the word debut. Debut. The T is completely silent. A debut is the first time an entertainer, athlete, or product is introduced to the public. The director's debut film was a massive success. The talented actor made his Hollywood debut when he was only 18 years old. We can also use this word as a verb. The talented actor debuted in Hollywood when he was only 18 years old. Next, we have a noun phrase, the airwaves. The airwaves are the waves or signals that are used to broadcast radio or television programs. So if you hear something on the airwaves, then you hear it on the radio, or maybe you see it on TV. So what does it mean to dominate the airwaves? Well, in this context, the verb dominate means to be the largest, most noticeable, or most important part of something. Destiny's Child dominated the charts in the early 2000s. When I was a child, I had their albums, I went to their concert, I used to listen to Destiny's Child a lot. Since August, Billboard has been ranking their staff picks for the top 25 pop artists of the past 25 years. Billboard's picks are artists who they believe have most defined pop stardom and have exemplified pop greatness since the turn of the millennium. To rank someone or something. This means to choose the order of people or things on a list based on quality, importance, or success. It's very common to use the passive form of this verb, be ranked as plus a number or position. Princeton is ranked as one of the best universities in the United States. Next, this is an informal noun. A pick is just a selection or a choice. Florida is a popular pick for winter vacation destinations. What's your pick for the best restaurant in town? Now, let's talk about the word stardom. We already know the word star, so let's focus on this DOM suffix. A suffix is a letter or a group of letters added to the end of a word, and this creates a new word. If you want to improve your vocabulary, it's really, really important to become familiar with the most common suffixes. Words that end with the DOM suffix are nouns that refer to a state, status, or quality. For example, freedom is the state of being free. Boredom is the state of being bored. So pop stardom is the status of being a pop star. Next, we have a very formal professional verb. To exemplify something. Exemplify. This means to be a clear, typical example of something. His actions exemplify true leadership. So his actions are a perfect example of true leadership. This photo exemplifies popular fashion and makeup styles from the 1960s. Here we have the word greatness. This is a combination of the word great plus the NESS suffix. This is a very useful suffix that turns adjectives into nouns. The adjective happy becomes the noun happiness. Kind becomes kindness. Great becomes greatness. Next, the turn of the millennium just means the beginning of the millennium, or when the beginning of the millennium came, which was the year 2000. The phrase the turn of the focuses on the transition from one period of time in history to the next. So this can be the start of a new century or decade or year, etc. At the turn of the 20th century, industrialization was transforming cities around the world. Music videos started to become popular at the turn of the 1980s. Last week, Taylor Swift was announced as Billboard's #2 pick, with Rihanna claiming the third spot, Adele, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Kanye West, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, and Drake round out the top 10. At number 25 is Katy Perry, with other pop artists including Bad Bunny, The Weeknd, One Direction, Miley Cyrus, Eminem, Usher, and others ranking in between. One of the most common questions that I receive is, how do you use the word as? Well, there are so many ways to use this word, and I promise to talk about this in a future lesson. But for now, let's focus on the context of this sentence. A common way to use the word as is to indicate someone's title, job, role, or function. For example, Michael Jordan is known as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. As your teacher, I will always be here to support you. Okay, our last vocabulary word today is a separable phrasal verb, to round something out. This means to make an experience feel complete or perfect, usually by adding something final, one final thing. The coach is looking for one more player to round out the team. The dessert rounded out the meal perfectly. I think a great way to round out this lesson is to go back and read the entire article again, this time at a more natural speed. Remember, you can slow down the video if needed. Billboard names Beyoncé the greatest pop star of the 21st century. Beyoncé has been named the greatest pop star of the 21st century by Billboard, the music charting site announced on Tuesday as part of an ongoing series. Beyoncé tops our staff-chosen editorial list based on her full 25 years of influence. Her commitment to innovation, evolution, and all-around excellence has made her the bar against which all other pop stars this century have long been measured over the past 25 years. Beyoncé is the most Grammy-winning artist, with a record 32 wins, and after earning 11 more nods for her 2024 album Cowboy Carter, is expected to scoop up more trophies come January. The Texas Hold'em singer has a deep history on Billboard's charts as well. She has 9 #1 songs and 24 top 10 songs on the Hot 100. 8 of her albums have claimed the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 albums chart, starting with her 2003 debut solo album, Dangerously in Love. After previously dominating the airwaves as part of girl group Destiny's Child, 11 of Beyoncé's solo albums have charted in Billboard's top 10. Since August, Billboard has been ranking their staff picks for the top 25 pop artists of the past 25 years. Billboard's picks are artists who they believe have most defined pop stardom and have exemplified pop greatness since the turn of the millennium. Last week, Taylor Swift was announced as Billboard's #2 pick, with Rihanna claiming the third spot. Adele, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Kanye West, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, and Drake round out the top 10. At number 25 is Katy Perry, with other pop artists including Bad Bunny, The Weeknd, One Direction, Miley Cyrus, Eminem, Usher, and others ranking in between. Now, it's your turn to practice some of today's vocabulary. I have 2 homework questions for you. 1. Who would be your pick for the top pop star of the past 25 years? My personal pick would be Britney Spears. 2. Do you think that music charts or awards like the Grammys are a good way to measure the greatness of an artist? Why or why not? Write your answers in the comments. All right, I hope you enjoyed reading this article with me. If this lesson was useful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. A quick thank you to my channel members here on YouTube and on Patreon for your support. Members can listen to exclusive podcast episodes and access the community chat group, where you can ask me questions and practice your skills with other English learners around the world. Click join below this video to become a member. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Gina. This is Your World in English, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!